Okay, we're live. So here is the plan for today's workout. We've got the standard procedure for warm-ups and footwork and a little bit of conditioning afterwards. So today I am joined by Coach Sam.
The one and only.
Hello, hello.
Hey. So we're here, yet another Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday. Wednesday the 22nd.
That's right.
So, today, I guess I have a jump rope, but you don't need anything except for space. The optional things are a sword, a jump rope, and some sort of weight to hold onto while you bend your knees and straighten them repeatedly. So, on that note, we'll get started on our first thing that we always do, jump rope or jump around like a fool, but hey, that's okay. So we're gonna go through a couple of different footwork routines. You guys are trying to remember what we're doing. I'm doing this too early. Let's do this for a little bit, kind of just get a sense of timing when you gotta jump. Getting used to jumping the rope. Now we're gonna do the butt kickers or running where you pick your heels up. Yeah, I transition to the sticks. Alright, and then skips. So we'll start off with, if you got a jump rope, it's something, it's always good to learn new routines, doing with the same piece of equipment. Because of all the things I've said before, essentially. It's 2 counts. You're gonna hop on 1 foot, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So, get started. All right, you just hop on 1 foot. My foot is kind of doing it. Right, 1, 2, 1, 2. But when I'm switching from 1 foot to the next, I'm kicking back. So I'm going switch, kick, switch, kick, switch, kick, right? I thought the jump rope broke on me there for a second. Switch, kick, switch, kick. Switch, kick, switch, kick. Just like that. Switch, kick, switch, kick, switch, kick. 2, 1, 2. 1, 1. So, something to aspire to, I suppose. All right. So let's go into what we normally do. Open the gate, lift your knee up high, try and keep your balance. As always, do the whole thing. Don't sit there, waver like you're, I don't know. Isn't there some sort of silent movie star where they're always about to fall off a cliff or something?
I mean,
all of them?
I mean, as far as like somebody who's aggressively off balance, Buster Keaton comes to mind.
Yeah, Buster Keaton.
There we go.
Yeah. Whoa. No one on that.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm against Buster Keatonism. Alright, and then close the gate, same idea, nice and smooth. And part of this is, if I start talking, then I start losing my balance. I have to concentrate on doing it. And so it helps with focus. Alright. Whoa. Wasn't focused that time. And bring all your brain power towards one task. That's kind of what you got to do in fencing, to an extent, right? I mean, it's lots of little tasks, but you gotta, it's a lot of simple things that you have to do in a row at the right time in order to get what you want to have happen. And you need to be like absolutely there and concentrating on what's going on in front of you. And so anything that trains your brain to focus on the task at hand in front of you and not benefits you, at least according to my bro psychology textbooks. So that's right, been studying in this. All right, I'm moving along. So now we'll do lunge stretch. It's pretty simple. You just go out and do an athletic lunge and land, and we're going to keep our back nice and straight, and we're working on stretching out this muscle. And we talked about this on Monday. I'm allowing my weight to go back through my back leg and pushing, right? I can feel my weight pushing my heel towards the ground, right? I'm not all up here. And see, you can tell I don't have any weight on my back foot. Here I have weight on my back foot. And switch. And try and keep your hips pretty squared up with where you're looking. All right, I'm looking straight ahead, and I want the front of my hips facing that way. I don't want to be kind of tilted off to the side. So, and you either feel it, right? I mean, if you tilt off the side, then the stretch goes away on your hips. So, kind of move around until you feel the stretch that you're kind of supposed to stretch, that you're supposed to feel, and you're probably there, as long as it doesn't feel like your leg's about to fall off. Alrighty. Alright, and so now what we're gonna do is step off to the side, and we're just gonna sit down on our heel. We'll stretch the inside of our legs. So my toe is flat on the ground. And switch. And then toe up, reach across. And try and relax, breathe. Every exhale is a relaxation, allowing you to kind of go slightly deeper. And we'll switch into the stretch. Alrighty. Alright, and we'll do the classic downward dog. So again, putting my hands right underneath my shoulders, and I'm putting my knees right underneath my hips, and my feet are the same width as my knees. Alright, so everything's nice straight lines, elbows tucked in, and I'm gonna start tilting back on my toes and pushing my hips backwards. And relaxing my calves and my hamstrings. The weight should be pushing your heels to the ground. And then if you want to, you can kind of do a little pedal action. Put all the weight in one leg and then the other. Alrighty. Alright. And now we'll do bow pose. So I'll lay down on your side. I like to kind of curl up like I'm taking a nap. And then straighten out my posture, right? Still resting my head, nice neutral position on my arm. Grabbing the top of my foot and then pushing into my hand with my foot. So I'm trying to straighten my knee. And you can see like my torso and my thigh are kind of bowing, bow pose. And switch. So same thing, get everything in alignment, lay down nice and relaxed, and then push into your hand. Pushing, I don't even know how I got the order wrong. It doesn't matter anymore, I suppose.
And we're here now.
And we're here now, exactly. Alrighty. Okay. So this is going to be pretty simple footwork. As you saw on the list, it's pretty small. We're dealing kind of more conceptual things. But we'll start off with simple lunge recover. And so when I'm asking you to do anything super big, because we're not really working on like big offensive actions today, we're thinking more position, like the position of a lunge, right? Normally everybody thinks that's to attack, right? Like you're stepping into the distance and hit. But that exact position and posture with your body isn't just on the attack. It can be used in different things. Most everybody that I see fence use it anyways, right? I've seen everybody that fences that has some level of experience in fences at competitions and stuff. They all have the same posture in these situations, but we're just going to kind of bring some of that stuff to life. So anyway, lunge, right? So, right, same thing, right? We're going to kick that front foot out, lunge, and we're actually going to stay in the position and relax. Okay, and just kind of chill. And we're here, and actually what we can work on is kind of tilting and reaching forward and then coming back. Reaching forward and then coming back. And here, so we're kind of using our upper body and kind of shifting that a little bit. So, lunge, and here, reaching, and coming back. Now I'm not, as you can see, I'm not tilting my hips. Right? I'm flexing my spine off to one side. Does that make sense? So I'm reaching here. I'm not doing this, right? Because this puts everything out of position. I can't go backwards. So here, right? Reach and then recover. All right, we'll do it again now. We just kind of, we'll just do normal, we'll just do lunge recover. Just normal lunge recover, right? Pushing with our front foot, getting ourselves back. Pulling with that back leg, right? Lunge, recover. All right? Lunge, recover. Good. All right, so now we'll move on. Now we just add a retreat onto it, right? So you go lunge, and we'll kind of stay out here, right? Maybe reaching out a little bit here, and then I'm going to recover, retreat. So I'm going to pull and push, and then push again. So I go pull, and then push, right? Using my back leg pull myself back. This is a tether, right? That I don't know. They haven't like I only understand this trope from The Simpsons, but I'm sure they stole it from a movie. But you know, there's like the diver that goes down and he gives like the yank on the line 3 times. That means that he's in trouble. The shark's gonna eat him. And they gotta haul him back up to the surface or some such nonsense like that. So that's what this is. This back foot, right? This is going to get you out of trouble, and so that's really important. So lunge, right? And we're gonna yank ourselves back. And then take a retreat back, right? So, and then back here. So, lunge, hang out here, and then maybe have your arm out there, right? We're looking for something, target, blade. I'm making it look like that's what we're going to look for. Retreat, right? So I'm reaching out, putting my head, my target's out here in front, right? My blade is out here, I'm threatening and presenting something enticing right here, right? you know, I am right here. My head's right here. Everybody likes to hit people in the head, at least in Saber. But, you know, my chest is here too, all that stuff. So not only am I a threat here, but I'm also a prize for your opponent to try and get, right? And you know exactly where you are. And so if you know where you know where your opponent's gonna go, then you have an advantage. So I'm here, right? And then I'm just gonna pull myself back and then into like that. Okay, so we'll move on. Ooh, this is going a little pretty fast.
It's going good.
It's going good. It's going good. Okay, let me go grab my sword real quick, and then we'll talk more about this. Here. So we're right here, the defensive lunge. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's even like a kind of a. I mean, I've heard it called around. This is what I'm calling defensive lunge. So, what I was talking about before, just a moment ago, was I'm out here in here, right? I'm putting my body forward, my head's going forward, right? So I can reach in and I can counter, as it says on the list, right? I'm here. I then also, because, well, I'll get to all the things, right? So I'm here, right? I'm farther in, my hand's farther in, right? And so I can hit them when they're coming in. I can present a target here so that they come and cut me. I guess not just cut, but trying to hit me, right? And I can set up a pair of posts either here or back here. And then beats, especially if you think you have the timing of when your opponent is shifting their blade back and forth, right? Because they are trying. Nobody's completely random. Everybody has a pattern. And so you just have to be observant enough to catch on to the pattern. Easier said than done, but not that. That's pretty much the way it goes. And so I can be here and I can here and take the blade, right, and take over right of way. Priest of Fair cut if they basically parry post for conceptual level. All right, but all these things are predicated off of proper use of distance. All right, I can't just be here, right? I can't set up a defense when someone's charging at me. Does that make sense? And so if someone's being really aggressive, I don't want to try and like set up some sort of layered attack, right? Like I'll make them worry about my blade here, and then I can take a step back and then try and get their counter like that. If they're coming in pretty aggressive, you just got to move your feet. And so it's kind of. I went fishing this morning, so I'll have a brief analogy. What Sam class is not complete without me talking about exclusively my interests. So I was fishing, and I went and caught a catfish or whatever, and I was thinking about like when you're reeling in a fish, especially if it's a big fish, it like pulls out line, and I see a lot of like if you watch an experienced person that fishes, if the fish takes off, they don't do anything. They just hold onto the rod and let the reel, put forth the resistance. But as soon as that fish lets up, right, and gets tired, they're on the reel, pulling in line, right, pumping that fish in. So when the fish is being assertive, right, they don't do anything. There's nothing to do, right? You know that the fish is eventually going to tire out, and as soon as it kind of starts slowing down, then that's when you can start doing stuff against it. So the same thing here, right? If I'm fencing, and let's say I miss my attack, and they kind of have some space. They took a step back or something, and they have this big charge in, and I don't feel confident about the counterattack, right? Coming in, then I got to retreat and keep distance. Okay, don't run into the wall. Don't copy me. But I gotta move, and like keep the space open so that they can't just reach out and hit me, right? Because just like the fish, right? If someone puts in this charge, now not everybody, the better they are, the stronger the fish, the bigger the fish, right? The harder they pull. and the longer they can pull, typically. But eventually they're gonna slow down, right? Because they're seeing that the distance isn't closing, right? So there's no opportunity. Or they throw out an attack and miss, right? Because they get kind of too overzealous in their head, they get too amped up, and then they have to finish it. But you just step back, right? I'm just not gonna deal with it. All right, so there you just move. Try not to get hit. And then as soon as they let up, then you take control again, start horsing in that line, right? Applying pressure to them to get them to be where you want, get them in the net. Pressure. So this is kind of what I mean by pressure. So if they tired or they start slowing down on their attack, I'm not just gonna give them space, right? I'm gonna get up in their mug, right? To be corny about it, and I'm gonna like get a reaction, right? If they don't want to bring the fight to me, then I bring the fight to them, right? And I come in and I start provoking in playing with the distance, and so that's where this kind of posture comes in, right? So I'm here and I'm being really aggressive, or at least it looks like it, right? I'm reaching forward, having my blade forward, right? I'm low to the ground in this nice like defensive, cat posture, I mean, my hair's kind of like raised or whatever, right? And so I'm here, and so I look dangerous, right? I look like I'm on the defensive, and so it's something that they gotta be cautious about, right? And so that's when I can get those counters. If they're holding back, then that's when I can get the counter, right? Because they feel like they got to take another, they're not confident with doing a single action. But again, I guess I'll bring it back to the prime directive in fencing, and that is controlling the distance. I said this to one of my fencers at a tournament, and then I told it to another coach, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm going to totally steal that phrase from you." Counters only work when your opponent doesn't think that they can just hit you, right? They have to do something extra to get to the place where they want to be, right? And so if I'm here in their face, right, doing all this stuff, and then as soon as they kind of do something a little aggressive, then I back up, right? Oh, back up. I get away, right? They're gonna come in, oh, nothing happened, right? My initial push was nothing, right? Or it didn't result in what I wanted. Well, what do the soup is bland, what do you do? Throwing more salt in there, right? So they're gonna start throwing more salt at you, right? Doing bigger action, because they want the distance to close, right? And especially annoying if I'm in your face, and then you do an action that looks like it, and then you start to do an action, and you're like, man, get this guy out of my face, right? I'm just gonna hit him, and then I back away. I'm like, oh, you can't hit me, woo, when I'm being obnoxious. Then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, all right, fine, I'll take one more step, and then that's when the counter happens, right? Because I've already set the precedent that I'm gonna be here, right? Out here, my head's here, my target's here, right? I'm in this posture, right? But I scuttle away, just in the nick of time, right? So you, as my opponent, need to take a bigger action, right? And that's what you have in your head. Oh, he's right there, he's just outside my reach. I just need to take a little bit bigger step, or take another step, and all that stuff, and I'm right here, and then I see you hesitate, I just step right in, boom, and hit. The other thing that we want to be thinking about when we're here, and in particular, we're talking about having the blade out, so I guess not exactly gonna go on like just what the list is, bury and beat. So I have my blade out there, I'm looking for, looking for the counter, or making it look like I have the counter, is out here, right? My blade's out here, okay? So one thing that the opponent can do is, what I'm setting up my opponent to do is I'm getting them to have to deal, they have to start whatever they're going to do outside of where my point is. Does that make sense, right? Like they can't get anywhere close to here, and especially if I've countered them, right? They can't come here and then start doing something, right? So they gotta start doing things farther away, right? So if they have to start doing things from farther away, that means it takes more time for them to finish to where I'm going to be. And if you've already hit them with counters and gotten them kind of all bugged out on like what the distance is, they're probably gonna do a bigger action. And so then I'm here and I'm getting them to try and start farther away. I watch where they go. It's kind of what we worked on last week, right? I'm watching and I step back, oh, pair riposte, right? So I'm here, right, trying to get them to start their action way over here, right? Oh, I step back, pair riposte. Right? And it's the same thing we were talking about with false pays, right? I'm here, right? And I know that in their patterns, right? I start harassing them and they're gonna flip their blade up in a certain place, right? Because everybody has a pattern, whether they're on defense or offense, right? Where do they put their blade when they're starting their march or starting to be aggressive, right? And I look for that tell, and I'll from here, I go directly up to a guard that's kind of in the way of that line that their blade is in position. I'm not gonna necessarily parry them in that place, but I'm putting something in their way, right? And just because they've been your opponents, I mean, just like you guys, right? I mean, when we do lessons or drills or something, it's thinking, or you're not thinking about why you're putting your blade. I mean, you kind of are, but honestly, you know, how much of it is just instinct, right? Their blade's there, you go somewhere else, right? Their blade's there, you go parry, right? It's a simple action-reaction thing that we do. And so if I'm here and they start putting their blade into a position to get around my blade, right? Then I automatically just go into a position that at least conceptually blocks off their blade position from hitting me, right? And then I can step back, watch, pair, riposte. So from out here, right, I'm reaching, not really reaching, right? I'm not way off balance, right? I'm here, but I'm very low to the ground, very stable, right? Getting them to do something way out here. Right? Oh, pair, riposte, right? Boom, boom, right? So, then also, I guess saying the same thing is beats, right? I guess we talked about that before. We did talk about that before. And all these things can feed off of one another, right? So if you have proper use of distance, right, and you counter somebody, what's the logical adjustment to do, right? Oh, well, I need to start my attack earlier, right? Because I got hit with a counterattack, so therefore I took too long, right? Took an extra step, too big of an action, something, you know, right? And so they're gonna do shorter actions in at you, and so that's when blade work comes into play, right? Because they're going to be launching attacks, just little boom. So you can just kind of wait and I'll play with the distance. Right? And step back, pair, riposte. And then now if someone gets their blade, and then if someone gets their blade touched, right? Like just what happens when your blade gets touched, right? Automatically, oh no, that was very bad, right? Negative reinforcement all the way up and down, right? Don't let that happen again, right? Your brain is just screaming at you. That was a bad thing, a very, very, very bad thing, right? And so if someone touches your blade, what do? No, I don't want that. No, not letting you gain control of this in any way. And now what? Now it counter obvious, right? Because my blade's back, I can't defend myself. Also, the other thing is that if my blade's back here, it's gonna take longer for my blade to get out into an extension where I can hit you. And so if someone's really being hesitant, I can play with this distance right here in front of them and then get them to fall short, right? And then when they fall short, what do they feel like they need to do? Oh, I fell short, that means I did too short of an action, and so I need to take another step, or I need to take a bigger step. Oh, thank you for the counter. Oh, thank you for the parry, right? Oh, thank you for the miss hit, or oh, and now I march down and hit, right? And so, distance, I guess. Distance. dictates on whether or not you're able to execute those things. But you can build off of that in a pretty successful game that's really not that complicated, right? Based off of a couple things and shucking and jiving, all right? And that's really, I mean, that's what you need to be successful. I mean, only the best of the best really, I mean, see, you've watched Cyrus of Chaos videos, I'm sure, right? I mean, what do they do? Do they do anything that you guys don't do? The answer is yes, sometimes, right? But the real question is they do all the things that you know how to do, but minimal work doing the action, right? So they're really efficient. The timing of their action is very, very tight, right? So it's very, like, it's exactly the right place. In work, right? And you watch them and they don't give up and they keep working with their feet, right? And they keep scrambling and scrambling and scrambling for position, right? So they try something and then they move on to the next thing, right? And so they keep adjusting the plan, keep coming up with stuff, and they don't, they work the whole script, right? Up and down if they have to. That's part of why they are on the world stage, right? Because they know how to use every little bit of everything that they got, right? The strip, the confidence in their execution, that's really the key, right? I mean, they're really good and they practice, so they should have confidence. So they believe in it, and it works, and they have positive feedback loop and all that stuff. All right, so there was my diatribe on the defensive lunge. So this is something you guys can try at home, right? Just thinking long, right, in your on guard, right? So this is kind of normal on guard, and think about getting low and kind of being long and seeing kind of where you can reach and stepping back from there, right? So just think about, wide stance, right? Have a nice stable stance, right? So I can change direction. I'm not going to be that mobile, but I can move really short distances pretty quickly, and that's what I need, right? And I'm keeping my arm long, and I'm keeping low, and my feet are far apart, maintaining stability, right? And you can just keep the stance and work. Right? Don't have to do it for that long, but it's something that, again, something you want to think about. And I do this all the time because I'm a dork. But I visualize all the time about what even fencing, but that's just, fencing because I grew up with it, right? And so, it's just kind of automatically part of my brain and part of the way that I view the world. But I can, visualize myself doing moves, right? And I can visualize patterns that I want to try and do and stuff I want to emulate and, all that stuff. And not even when I'm fencing or working out or thinking directly about fencing, but I'm kind of visualizing that stuff. That's because, I've been doing this for most of my life, and so, again, it's part of my brain. But I feel like that helps me kind of because now I can bring what's in my head, and then I can work on bringing it out into the world, right, and manifesting it. And I do the same. I do it more consciously on other things that I do, so like boxing and jujitsu. I think about that, fishing, how to cast and stuff. I think about that stuff. I visualize what I want, what I'm trying to get to. Does that make sense? And then I think about it, visualize it, and then I go out and try and execute it. Does it always end up being the same thing as my visualization? No. Is it a pleasant surprise? Sometimes it is, right? Sometimes I'm like, wow, that worked out really better than what I visualized. Lots of times, it's not that I have a bad idea in my head, but my execution is not necessarily that great, right? But that doesn't mean that my idea is bad, right? And it just means I need to keep working at it. And so, thinking about this stuff, even when you can't visualizing it, I guess, and then doing like the physical moves too. But that is definitely part of it. It's not just like, oh, well, it's fencing time, so now I get to think about fencing. That's not what makes you better. It's like thinking about it. You know, shadow fencing. I used to shadow box in the bathroom in front of the mirror a lot. I felt like that helped. I'm a complete nerd, right? And I make no apologies about it. But I felt like I figured some things out just by doing the motion, visualizing it, and then doing it. And did it look pretty in the beginning? Absolutely not. Does it look pretty now? Probably not. But I've learned something practical from it, so that's the important thing. All right, let's get started on the workout because I want to preserve my singing voice. And so let me grab the timer. Where did the timer go? Right there. Sweet.
All right, here's our workout plan for just in case you tuned in late. Oh boy, that's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is thunder and up downs. So all we're going to do, you can do it in an on guard position, but somewhat irrelevant. So you're going to be doing this, and then I'm going to call out something, and then you're just going to drop, and then back up. Drop, and then back up. All right, pretty simple. We're doing it for about a minute. Just keep your feet moving. That's the important thing, right? If it slows down, that's the way it goes, right? Not a big deal, but just keep working, right? That's the most important thing that you can do is not stop. Whatever you got to do to keep going, then keep doing it. All right, ready, and go. Hands down. 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 Oh boy, a minute. Why am I such a meathead? Down. 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 Weak sauce. All right. Turn on the thing. Hopefully we get through this in an hour. Jeez Louise. Well, all right. Maybe we'll just do another one of these and move ahead with it just to make sure we got time. All right, so last one of thunder and up and down. There we go. Down. Down. All right, get a drink of water. We'll move on to the fun part. Alrighty, So, pyramid is what I like to call them instead of pyramid. So, but breaking stuff. All right, so it's pretty simple. You're gonna do 2 push-ups, then 7 squats, and 4 push-ups, 7 squats, 6 all the way up to 10, back down to 2. So this is where the optional weight comes into play for the squats. All right. So let's get started. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Remember to tighten everything up at the top of the squat. Don't relax. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now 8, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh boy, now 10. 2, 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All gets easier from here, right?
Yeah, it gets easier from here. That is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 8. We are.
That's at least 2 less.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
2.
2. Then we move on. 1, 2. All right. All right. Quick drink of water, and then we'll do our last 2 things. 100 crunches, 1 minute of flutter kicks, everybody's favorite.
Ooh.
Let's see if this still works. Hey. Okay. 100 crunches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. 1 minute of flutter kicks. There's an easy way and a hard way to do flutter kicks. If you put your hands underneath your butt and kind of sit on them, it makes it slightly easier. If you lay just flat, it's significantly harder. If you feel like you have any back pains or in your lower back, then rest on your hands. As you may be like laying on the floor, maybe bending your spine weird way, and you know, causing an issue. All right, so ready and go. Toes pointed. Try and keep your feet just barely above the floor. Ooh. I'll go the easy way. And then I can't reach for the timer, so I don't know what time it is. The torture. All right. So hopefully you guys feel as good as I look, and be safe out there and keep hydrated, of course, and in these times definitely don't be touching your face. So until next time, peace.